Another brick fan with a Star Wars Polybag. This is AT-ST. This is set 30495, was released in January 2022. Has 79 pieces, no minifigures, and cost about $5 when it was released. This is a good-looking AT-ST, and 79 pieces is quite a few for something that looks like a relatively small model. But let's go ahead and get it put together, and then we will take a look at the final build. Here is the completed AT-ST, and as you may recall from the movies, this has just the two legs and then the swiveling head up top, so they did a nice job with the swivel head. I think it looks kind of out of proportion. I think these legs are just a little bit too long. I mean, just the way it looks, they look just a little bit too long. However, they probably had to do this in order to provide the stability to make sure it could stand up. Now this doesn't pose super well because it's just not balanced enough, right? There's just not enough structure there to really support the AT-ST in many poses, although you can slightly move it around. I do like the fact that they put the head on a turntable, so that allows the head to move not quite 180 degrees, so it looks, you know, I don't know, it may have about 90 degrees of movement, maybe a little more than that. Looking from the model straight on, you see that it does look pretty good. I really appreciate how they did the cockpit. So you might have noticed during the build, they're using these corner pieces that just have the wall on them to provide the cockpit look. So I think that turned out really nicely there. They did two different style of weapons. So on this side, they have the stud with the post on it. And then on this side, they use a pistol piece. So those are two different weapons on either side. And they use just these robot arms here in the front for the little front-facing weapons. The head of the AT-ST looks great. I think they did a fantastic job getting that done. Now it is a little fragile here in the back. So this isn't quite in there good enough. I mean, I think maybe one more piece right here, like a 2x2 tile right here, probably would have really added some stability to it. Other than that, the feet are big to give it a lot of stability when it's standing. Again, these legs are these legs look too long to me, but they used all of these articulation points. So there's one at the ankle, there's a very low knee, I guess, and a hip. So there are 3 articulation points, which allows for a lot of posability, but because of the way the model is, the stability is not very good in different poses. You can see, if you tried to make it look like it was walking, you really have to struggle to get it to look like it's walking. There, that's not too bad. So there is kind of the ups and downs of this model. On the plus side, as usual with polybags, they did a really good job at this micro scale or very small scale of a very large model. There is an AT-AT polybag that is actually smaller than this, but it turned out pretty well. I'll leave a link. I think it's called the Heavy Walker. I'll put a link to it up here in the corner. The design choices obviously are good here because you get a fairly good sized polybag, but at the same time, they built bigger ships in a smaller scale. So it's kind of interesting. Overall, a very solid Star Wars polybag. I really like the look of it. It does have a very good look and feel of the AT-ST walker, particularly the ones you saw in Return of the Jedi. You could almost imagine Chewbacca popping this hatch open and sticking his head out and roaring at Han Solo. It's really done nicely here in this micro scale. Hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this Star Wars polybag. I'm going to get started on my next video. And until then, happy building. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to see more of my content. I left a link to my Star Wars and polybag reviews up here on the screen.